Welcome back to the Wolf Market Madness podcast. So excited to have Brennan here today at BudgetDog _ on Twitter, at BudgetDog on Instagram. One of my favorites to follow. You're going to get a lot of wealth and long-term advice from Brennan if you go ahead and give him a follow on social media. He really breaks stuff down, super transparent, part of a whole kind of pack, I would say, of people that are giving this really strong wealth and knowledge advice. So again, just a really great follow. Thank you for coming on and talking with us today.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's talk about what the Market Madness bracket is real quick, just for everyone that's watching. We're going to be it's launching more on Monday, so you'll get more info then, but a tournament Market Madness, March Madness style bracket with 64 stocks, ETFs, and cryptos going head to head. And we're going to be talking about Brennan's champion today, the one that's going to take it all. What is your favorite stock or ETF in this bracket, Brennan?
VOO. It's hands down the best. It's absolutely going to win, no doubt.
Tell us more about VOO.
So when I look at VOO, when I looked at the entire bracket in general, it stuck out like a sore thumb because it's what I'm invested in essentially. I think the S&P 500 is the bedrock of most people's financial, or should be the bedrock of most people's portfolios. So when I look at this and I see, decade investor picking QQQ, some little cute play, I look at it as this is an easy win for me in the first round, and I see myself moving forward in this, win after win after win to the championship all the way, as this is the staple of everybody's portfolio, or that it should be. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, let me turn it over to Drew for a couple questions.
Yeah, so we all kind of know what the S&P 500 is. Some people are saying, are the weights right? VOO, is their expense ratio good? Kind of give us, the fundamentals of obviously the S&P 500 and why it sticks out to you. It's a lot of companies in there, more than QQQ and the NASDAQ. Tell us why you like it.
So when I look at and analyze, S&P 500 in general, I compare it mostly to VT-SAX, which is the total stock market. The reason being is obviously because the weight in the VT-SAX of the total market is like 90% of the S&P 500. So VOO is a major component, if not the entire component of the U.S. stock market. And I would never bet against the U.S. in simple terms. It's simple. It's an easy thing to bet on. You're going to win every single time, no doubt. And so you can't go wrong with it. And I'm, as a pretty conservative investor, I feel very confident for the long run to always have this in my portfolio, not think one thing about it, and always have very, very good returns.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm a big fan of holding, some type of ETF in the portfolio. Definitely like what's going on there. There's a lot of talk. Maybe you got some speculation. I'd love to hear. What do you think is going to happen in the short term for, the S&P 500 as a whole? And maybe give us a little bit of a long-term view, maybe 5 years out. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So the short term, I'm never a good gambler. So I want to put myself on record. I don't know what's actually going to happen. What I think is going to happen is it's going to soar right past 4,000 and just blow past that. The S&P 500 is going to go crazy in 2021. I think with the third stimulus check coming in, the kind of the general consensus of people with COVID and the confidence behind the general consumer, I think people are really excited to get out of this phase that we've been in the last year and a half and get out and do things, right? I think we've all been locked up in the house. So I think the market's going to boom. In the long term, I know for a fact it's going to go up. That's about death, taxes, and S&P 500 to the moon, and about the three things I can guarantee in life. And I know for a fact over the next 20, 30, 40 years, it's going to perform excellent. I don't know if it's going to be 10% like historical. A lot of people think like things like ARK might overtake it. I still believe in the fundamentals of the index fund investor, not trying to beat the market, low fees, all that kind of basics behind it. And so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think VOO has like one of the lowest expense ratios. And I think I need that framed on my wall now. Death, taxes, and S&P 500 to the moon. I like that. All right, so I'm going to turn over to Gav. But before I do that, really quickly, inflation, good or bad for the market, right? I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, inflation, EPS is going to grow too. We don't need to worry about it. When we see the 10-year come down, things start to dip. What do you think very quickly? Inflation, good or bad for the market?
I think inflation, people overemphasize this and kind of overhype it. I think it's a natural part of the market. We know it's coming. With all the stimulus checks, I think everyone's worried that it's just going to blow way up. I'm not too worried about it. I think it's going to measure itself. It may be a very normal trend over the long term. It might spike temporarily, but hey, we got the Fed backing us, right? They're saying they're going to keep it in line, so we should be good.
Definitely. All right, I'll turn over to Gav right now. Hit us with some of your questions, man.
Yeah, so we just talked about the fundamentals and about the math and about what's going in there. And over time, we understand that the economy is moving in a certain direction. But when it comes to the Market Madness tournament, we're talking about popularity. We're talking about social sentiment, people, how many tags is this stock or ETF getting a day? What kind of backing can it get? What's the push? So why do you believe? Tell me about what do you see as the social sentiment that surrounds VOO, maybe other people that also are investing in it that you think will come out of the woodwork and back it, and why does it have the opportunity to win a tournament like this?
So my following is they understand I talk about this all the time. I talk about VOO every day, or VFX as I invest in and stuff. I think the biggest thing with that is that with the popularity, almost anybody that starts getting into index fund investing knows right off the bat, like VOO or S&P 500, that's what they know and they hear. So I think a lot of people that come into this and understand this Market Madness thing are going to think instantly S&P 500. That's the most popular choice here. It's also, I guess you could say, the most boring choice in some sort of way. A lot of people know it's the first thing they learn, but it's also long term one of the most profitable things. So I think people are going to buy into that. Plus, I mean, QQQ against Colin, I mean, that's an easy win the first round. So I'm excited.
Fascinating. Very interesting. So taking a bigger picture look at the tournament real quick, when you went over the stocks and ETFs and cryptos that are playing in it, besides VOO, did you see any maybe underdogs that could have a surprise backing come out behind them and really push them in this type of contest?
So I think, and I was thinking this when I first originally was looking at it, was the only reason I think Bitcoin would make a run is simply because of the recent popularity and surge. And I think a lot of novice people are doing FOMO investing into Bitcoin. So I could see that catching popularity and going really far just because of the recent popularity. But I don't think it's a solid foundational investment at this point in time. David and I have been on air talking about this, and we've talked in depth about this, of what kind of weighting would it hold in your portfolio, type of things like that. Not saying it's a bad one, but I think popularity wise, which is what the tournament is going to drive this to pretty far.
Especially with it hitting 60K today.
Exactly. Yeah. It went 60K. It's insane. I think it might be 100K by the end of the year, to be honest.
So, I mean, let's look at this with the brackets. Bitcoin's a 1 seed, obviously. Tesla's a 1 seed, right? ARKK is a 1 seed from their respective areas. Do you think a lot of brackets are going to have Bitcoin or Tesla taking it all?
I think absolutely. You gotta think, when you see on the internet and stuff, what are the Reddit investors doing? So if you know what those guys are doing, it's going to be those things. It might be GameStop. Who knows? It's going to be Tesla, Bitcoin, GameStop, AMC. Those types of guys are going to push past the first round very easily, and they might sneak into the finals.
Right. It's going to definitely, it gets hard though. There's a lot of really powerful matchups, right? And there's so many of these with big backings, but they do have to go against each other. So it's curious as to what will put one over the top. What strategy would you do? Because obviously the first rounds are pretty easy, just like there are in March Madness often. Although I usually lose my bracket in the first round of March Madness.
We all do.
What's your strategy kind of as it comes into the second and the third rounds with some of these really popular names?
I mean, the second and third round, I think there's more experienced people, at this point, and there's more experienced companies. I think the good ones are going to pull away. I think a lot of hype stocks are also going to pull into those rounds. So at that point, I think it's going to come down to a Goliath versus a meme stock a lot of times. I don't think those in-betweeners are going to really push to that level, the Sweet 16, I guess you could say. And so I think it's going to be up to the people. Who's backing which stock is going to be big. You got Budget Dog backing VOO. People are going to back that. I have a lot of support on that. So I know my end is going to come through. But does somebody like Colin sneak through to the Sweet 16 or the finals with little QQQ? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. We'll make sure we'll get a nice custom VOO graphic for you so that we can make sure that the audience is all seeing it. Drew, anything else from you?
Yeah, real quick, I kind of like to ask this question, get a little competition. I know you got the competitive spirit, talking maybe a little bit of smack about QQQJ already. I love it. I love it. Are there any other stocks out there that you are like, get that thing out of this bracket? Let's see this thing go. I don't even want to like get this name on my bracket. Is there any name you just want to get out as soon as possible?
So who has AMC?
So there's not a specific person backing AMC right now. It's more like all of Reddit.
Okay, yeah. So I was
Gotta
about
be careful
to
talking
pick on that
smack,
one, but I would definitely say AMC is that one.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mainly because my brother-in-law called me the day it was going crazy. He's like, "Hey, should I sell this?" I'm like, "You have this stock?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a long-term investor."
He had it for a while beforehand.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
that's
Was he
what he
up
said.
or down? That's the question.
He made like $600 on it, so not much.
Okay.
The stimmy.
Money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I guess let's since that's about to happen, what are you doing with your stimulus check?
So we actually don't qualify.
Okay.
So I
probably
So unfortunately, I can't do anything with it. If I were to have one, I would just reinvest it automatically into probably VOO to make it simple. Maybe my business though. Outside of an actual core investment, I might reinvest it into my business as well.
Very cool. Very cool. And just, I guess, since you're on with us and we'll be sharing this, maybe like one or two sentences on your business and like why that would be your preferred investment.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to. Someone's dying in the background.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is with an investment, business is first and foremost. Like everyone wants to put the money in the market, but like being able to invest to make more money is also key. So to believe in yourself, believe in your business, I think putting your money there is big. I know for a fact with my business, Budget Dog and stuff, I have a huge push to help as many people as possible with financial literacy. So with that, with the $1,400 per se going into that account, I could help more people because it would grow to a bigger reach and audience.
Completely agree. Yeah, financial literacy is the ultimate goal here. I think that's kind of what we're all uniting around, is bringing that to our communities and really helping them. I really appreciate you coming on today. Before we do end, is there anything that you kind of want to get out there to the world? Anything you'd like to say, promote, anything you'd like to put out?
All I'm going to say is VOO to the moon.
Okay. VOO, make sure it's in your bracket. I can't speak to the first rounds because I have both interested parties. So I want to piss off Colin. So I
just don't know if I'll get upset. That's the biggest thing. I mean, we knew who the Goliath is here, me versus Colin. I just don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. There could be an upset. Who knows?
Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating one.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on today. This has been the Wolf Market Madness podcast. We are going to be doing episodes all week with a bunch of different creators, really showing their favorite stocks. All the information on the tournament itself is going to be dropping on Monday at noon. So everyone be on the lookout for that. We're going to have a $10,000 grand prize for the winner of the tournament. And we are just so excited to see this take off and bring the finance internet community together. So once again, thank you, Brennan. Drew, thank you for coming on always as well with me.